Now, role of the state in industrial relations in India. Okay, so there are 6 forms of roles or 6 states. 6 forms or 6 states. What are these forms? What are these 6 forms? Let us see. First is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire. Okay, laissez-faire means no state intervention. So this kind of approach was there in the 19th century. In the 19th century, the management and the workers, they were left free. So workers and management, they were left alone. Workers and the management, they were left alone for the purpose of negotiation, for the purpose of maintaining the industrial relations. So this is laissez-faire policy. After the laissez-faire policy, as we discussed in the HRM model, Robert Owen and later Elton Mayo, they raised the voice of the workers. They talked about the concerns at the human workplace. So the point that the relations, the industrial relations situation is not good, in the sense that working condition of the people is not good at the workplace. So this point was raised by Robert Owen, the thinkers like Robert Owen. From this time, that is by the 19th century, they took the shape of paternalism. So from laissez-faire policy, we move to the paternalism. From laissez-faire, we move to the paternalism. Okay, from laissez-faire, we move to the paternalism. Then from 1929 to 31, there was a Royal Commission on Labour. Royal Commission on Labour was appointed to look after the condition of the workers. Then 1950s, tripartitism model came. In the tripartitism model, we have 2 tripartite bodies, Indian Labour Conference and Standing Labour Conference, ILC and Standing Labour Conference, that is SLC. Okay, so it basically provides a platform for the 3 important players. These players are the management, the worker and the government. So these 3 bodies will come together and they will lay down the rules of the working. Okay, they will lay down the rules of the working. They will negotiate on the important terms. They will negotiate on the important terms. Okay, so please quickly make the short notes. Okay, quickly make the short notes, that will help you revise later very fastly. I have written by my hand so that you can also copy it very fast. Okay, and once it is done, then let me know, then I will proceed. I am waiting for you to write. That is why I am not in front of the board. Okay, once it is done, please let me know, confirm me that it is done. Okay, very good, copied. Others? Other people, are you doing yes, no, please reply something. I am waiting for your response. Okay, very good. I hope you are writing, है ना? You are writing. Because that is the purpose. That way you will remember. Otherwise, if you just think that, sir, give the PPT and we will manage ourselves, in that manner you will not be able to remember. Getting the point? So remembering is more important than just getting the PPT. PPT तो आपको मिल जाएगा. PPT से but आपको remember करना होगा, right? That is the point. Now, then came the 1950. In 1950, we already know the Constitution of India came. So Constitution of India came and we introduced legal constitutional framework. We introduced legal constitutional framework. Okay. In the legal constitutional framework, we gave the fundamental rights. So there are certain fundamental rights which are basically conducive to the industrial relations. Like, for example, freedom of expression, Article 19. Freedom of association, Article 19. So they allow the group of workers to express their opinion. They allow the group of workers to express as an association, to form, to constitute, to get together as an association. Okay. So freedom of expression, Article 19, and freedom of association, Article 19. Then prohibition of forced labor, Article 23. Prohibition of forced labor, Article 23. What is this? Basically, that no person can be forced into the forced labor. Forced labor concept has been removed, Article 23. Then there is, these are the three important fundamental rights. Apart from this, we have multiple DPSP. Importantly, for example, Article 43A. Okay, and let us see few more important constitutional provisions. DPSP, which are relevant for the industrial relations. DPSPs which are relevant for the industrial relations. Okay. So first of all, we should understand that labor is a concurrent subject. Labor is a concurrent subject. That means both state and union can legislate upon this. So both state and the legislature, they can legislate on these matters. Okay. So accordingly, there are many central laws and there are many state level laws which are there in India. Okay. Now coming to the DPSP. So Article 39, basically this lays down that state shall ensure equal pay for equal work. The principle of equal pay for equal work has been emphasized by Article 39, both for men and women. Article 39, the principle of equal pay for equal work, both for men and women. Okay. This comes from the philosophy of socialism. This comes from the socialism idea of the Constitution of India. So in the Constitution of India, we have the idea of socialism. This idea gives rise to the equal pay for equal work, both for the man and woman, right? Both for the man and woman. After this, okay, are you copying this? Are you writing it, everyone? Are you writing it? Should I move to the next slide? There can be directly MCQ from each of the discussion that I am doing. I am doing a lot of factual discussion, so there can be direct questions from this area. Okay, so you should keep making the notes. Then Article 41. Article 41. So Article 41 lays down the provision that state shall within the limits of economic, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, state shall within the limits of its economic capacity and development make effective provision for see, basically you should keep making the notes, because that increases the retention. Our purpose is not just to complete the syllabus somehow, our purpose is also to retain the things, right? That is the reason why I am writing on the board, and you should also write on the notes. You should also keep making the notes. Okay, make effective provision for securing the right to work, right to education, right to public assistance, right to work, right to education, right to public assistance in cases of unemployment, right to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, disablement, etc. So here important provisions are the right to work, okay, and right to public assistance in case of unemployment. Okay, so these two points are more important here, the right to work, okay, and that has been given through various provisions, for example MG Narega, and the right to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness, disablement, etc. Okay, so this is the article number 41. This is article number 41. After this comes the article 42. Okay, article 42 talks about the just and human conditions of work and for maternity relief. So that means the working condition should be good. Article 42 says working conditions should be good, just and the human conditions of work, and the concept of maternity relief. The concept of maternity relief. These are the two important aspects here. Okay, so please quickly write it. I am waiting for your response. Article 42, Article 42 the state to make provision for state to make provision for securing just and human conditions of work, just and human conditions of work, and for maternity relief. Okay, so conditions of work, that is the workplace conditions, and for maternity relief, and for maternity relief. Okay. Article 43. What is Article 43? Article 43 talks about state to make suitable legislations suitable legislation, okay, suitable legislation or economic organization, suitable legislation or any economic organization or organizations, any economic organization or organizations or in any other manner, or in any other manner to all its workers, okay, to all its workers. If you want, I will also share the PPT with you, don't problem. To all its workers, agricultural or industrial or otherwise, okay. All its workers means agricultural, industrial or otherwise, or in any other manner to all its workers, that can be agricultural, industrial or otherwise, comma, work, comma, a living wage, work provide करना है and we have to provide living wage, conditions of work, comma, conditions of work, conditions of work ensuring decent, conditions of work ensuring decent standard of life, conditions of work ensuring decent standard of life and full enjoyment of all opportunities. Full enjoyment of all opportunities. Okay. So Article 42 talks about the just and human working conditions, maternity relief. Article 43 talks about that we should provide the work, the living wage, the conditions of work ensuring decent standard of life and full employment to the full enjoyment to the people. So these are the provisions which you have to understand. These are the DPSP provisions, the relevant DPSP provisions which you should understand. Okay. So Article 42, Article 43, then we have seen Article 41, the right to work and all, then DPSP Article 39 regarding equal pay for equal, both men and women. Then we have the labor is a concurrent subject. Okay. Already we have seen the fundamental rights, Article 19, Article 23, and DPSP, one more DPSP is there, that is the Article 43A, which talks about workers' participation in management. Article 43 happens to be very important article, high probability that question will come from this area. Article 43A, high probability that question will come from this area, workers' participation in management, right? Okay. So let us come back now. Let us come back the role of state. So we were discussing the role of state, okay? So role of state first is laissez-faire, no intervention of any state in any matter. There is no intervention of state in any matter. Second is paternalism by 19th century with the help of Robert Owen. Then tripartism, Indian Labour Conference, Standing Labour Committee, right? So we have laissez-faire policy, paternalism and tripartism, right? Laissez-faire, paternalism and tripartism. Then we have Constitution of India, the fundamental rights and the DPSP, right? Then fifth role is the interventionist role. We know that this is the interventionist role. In the interventionist role, the state is actually working through various legislations. So we have various legislations in place which are already being discussed in the labor law. Okay, so in the labor law classes you are already already reading and understanding these laws. So these laws are the Trade Union Act, the Industrial Disputes Act, the Minimum Wages Act, EPF Act, Payment of Bonus, and many other laws. So thus here state is working as a body to register, to ensure that all the principles of these laws are being followed up, to ensure that all the DPSPs are being implemented in the correct manner, to ensure that workers have all the right and there is a proper system, there is a grievance redressal, disputes, if any, they are resolved in a proper manner, calculation of wages, calculation of payment, calculation of any amount that is taken care of, social security is there, okay? So good working conditions, social security, good industrial relations, right amount of remuneration, all these things are taken care by the labor laws. And then we are also came up with the latest codes which have subsumed lot of labor laws. But because these labor laws are still in the transition phase, so we will read old labor laws and still in the exam they will ask the questions from the old labor laws. The new labor laws will be asked very, very rarely, okay? So this is the interventionist role. After the interventionist role, we have the next role as the employer. So a state is also working as an employer. State जो है वो एक employer की तरह भी काम करता है, okay? So in the role of as an employer, they are providing the good working conditions and the good remuneration to the employees of PSU. तो पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग की जो एंटिटीज हैं उनके लिए दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग गुड रेम्यूनरेशन एंड गुड वर्किंग कंडीशंस, ओके? एंड ऑल्सो इट हैपन्स टू बी द लार्जेस्ट एम्प्लॉयर. इट हैपन्स टू बी द लार्जेस्ट एम्प्लॉयर. ये क्या है? आपका लार्जेस्ट एम्प्लॉयर है, राइट? सो इन एडिशन टू अबव, द गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड्स वेरियस इंस्टीट्यूशनल प्लेटफॉर्म्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेबर ब्यूरो इन शिमला, नेशनल लेबर इंस्टीट्यूट like in the NLI Noida. And apart from this, again, there are many other various labor beneficial platforms. There are again various labor beneficial platforms, labor administration agencies which are there for the employees, okay? So please write few of these bodies. Labor administration machinery. Please write the labor administration machinery. Please write labor administration machinery. Okay. So let us see the labor administration machinery in India. Okay, let me write it on the board. Labor administration machinery in India, and this is the important topic because this is having lot of facts. EPFO के लिए बहुत important है, APFC के लिए बहुत important है, right? So first of all, there is a Ministry of Labor and Employment. And under this Ministry of Labor and Employment, there are 4 attached offices. There are Ministry of Labor and Employment, there are 4 attached offices. Okay, what are these 4 attached offices? First is the Office of Directorate General of Employment and Training. Office of Directorate General of Employment and Training, and this is in New Delhi. Directorate of Employment and Training, and this is in New Delhi. Then we have Office of Chief Labor Commissioner. Office of Chief Labor Commissioner. Office of Chief Labor Commissioner, again New Delhi. So they can ask the location also, and they can ask, is this a attached office or not? So Office of DG of Employment and Training, Office of Chief Labor Commissioner. Then we have Labor Bureau. Labor Bureau. It is in Shimla, also in Chandigarh. Shimla and Chandigarh, both the places. Then we have Directorate General of Factory Advice Service and Labor Institutes. Directorate General of Factory Advice Service, Directorate General of Factory Advice Service and Labor Institutes, Mumbai. Okay, so Bureau हो गया, and this is Factory Advice Service, okay, and this is Director General of Employment and Training, and this is the Commissioner, okay. So you can remember like this, okay, you can remember like this. Oh, okay, I think now it is visible. Sorry for the interruption. Please see all of this. So there are 4 attached offices: Office of Director General of Employment and Training, New Delhi; Office of Chief Labor Commissioner, New Delhi; Labor Bureau, Shimla and Chandigarh; Directorate General of Factory Advice Service and Labor Institutes, Mumbai. After this we have the subordinate offices, okay. Quickly copy this, then I will move to next one. If you want, I can provide the PPT also, you can study later, so that we can increase the speed of the class. So what will you recommend? I can share the relevant pages to you, these pages to you later, okay. Next, after this, we have the, okay, I will provide, don't worry, okay, so that we can increase the speed. I will provide it, don't worry. Now we have the subordinate offices. We have the subordinate offices. So what is the role of these subordinate offices and name? So first is the Directorate General of Mine Safety, Ahmedabad. Directorate General of Mines Safety. This is in Dhanbad. Directorate General of Mine Safety, Dhanbad. Okay, and then there are various offices of welfare commissions in India. Offices of welfare commissions in India. Okay, welfare commissions. So what are the offices? Let us see. Offices of welfare commissions in India. So we have Employees State Insurance Corporation, ESIC. Employees State Insurance Corporation. Employees State Insurance Corporation. Then we have Employee Provident Fund Organization, EPFO. All these are the subordinate offices. Employees Provident Fund Organization. Then we have VV Giri National Labour Institute. VV Giri National Labour Institute. And then we have Central Board of Workers Education. Central Board of Workers Education. So what is the difference between the attached office and subordinate office? What is the difference between the attached office and the subordinate office? So attached office, basically attached office are generally responsible for executive direction, and they are most of the technical department. Okay. So let us see the difference between the attached offices and subordinate office. Attached office and subordinate office. Attached offices, they are basically for providing the executive direction. They are for the executive direction with respect to policy implementation, by the department. Okay, so department policy execution करने में क्या direction follow करेगा? What are the executive directions? These are given by the attached office, and they act as a repository of technical information. They act as a repository of technical information, or a repository of technical information. Okay, and technical advice. They basically give the advice on technical matters. So basically they are kind of staff agencies or advisory agencies. So in management there is a concept that any authority or any agency can be of two types. Either it can be a staff agency or it can be line authority. Okay, so these subordinate offices are the line authority or implementing authority. Attached offices are the advisory bodies. Okay, attached offices are the advisory bodies. Attached offices are the advisory bodies, and subordinate offices are the implementation bodies. Okay, subordinate officers are the implementation bodies. They are working in the field or in a decentralized manner, working in the field or in the decentralized manner. They are basically responsible for detailed execution of policies or programs of the department. Detailed execution of the policies or programs of the department. Okay, they function under the direction of attached offices. Okay, they function under the direction of attached offices. Okay, everyone. So this is the difference between the two bodies. This is the difference between the attached and the subordinate bodies. Attached and the subordinate bodies. Okay. Attached bodies are the staff agency and subordinate are the line or implementing agency. Okay. So we have already seen the attached offices are Field of Directorate General of Employment and Training, Office of Chief Labour Commissioner, Labour Bureau and Directorate General of Factory Advice Service and Labour Institutes. Then subordinate offices are Director General of Mines and Mine Safety. Then you have ESIC, EPFO, VV Giri National Labour Institute and Central Board of Workers Education. Okay, so जिस EPFO के लिए आप prepare कर रहे हैं, that happens to be one of the subordinate office of the Ministry of Labour. So EPFO, you know, this question they can also ask in the interview. देखिए, one more thing I want to tell you. All the discussion that we are doing, why should you take very high interest in the subject like this that we are studying? Okay, interview में, if you see the importance of these subjects in the interview, so in interview you will have, like, if you see the civil services interview, the civil services interview is a journalist interview. It is a journalist interview. Means they will ask you about general idea about various issues like education, health, or why you will want to become IAS or something, right? But here, if you talk about APFC or EPFO, in case of EPFC and EPFO, this is a specialized interview. This is a specialized interview, okay? So what is the meaning of specialized interview? What is the meaning of specialized interview? What is the meaning of specialized interview is that they will ask you the technical questions on those matters which are important for job profile. They will ask you the technical questions on those matters which are important for the job profile. So if you see the syllabus, 3 areas happens to be the most important in the job profile. One is the industrial relations. Second is the labor laws. And third is the accounting. देखिए, other areas like aptitude, English, polity, economy. Economy भी they can ask you because economy is also the relevant domain. But if you see the previous year toppers interview also, they will also tell you that most of the questions they are asking from the core areas which you are supposed to deal after the job. So once you become the officer, whether you become Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner or you become EPFO, AO, EO, in any case you have to deal with IR, economy, labor law and accounting. These are the 4 areas which you have to deal with, right? So you should focus on this area in a very, very high manner because it will help you prepare for the interview. आपका इंटरव्यू में क्वेश्चंस मोस्टली यहां से आने वाले हैं. टेक्निकल सर्विसेज में टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. So you should actually read these 4 subjects not only from the point of view of the examination, that is a written examination, but also from the point of view of the interview. That is why I am discussing these concepts like आपका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में क्या प्रोविजन है, अटैच्ड ऑफिस, सबऑर्डिनेट ऑफिस क्या है आपका, हिस्टोरिकल इवोल्यूशन कैसे हुआ है आपका, स्टेट का रोल क्या है आपका. All these questions, you know, I am dealing not only from the point of view of the writing. Writing में तो वो पूछ ही सकते हैं, but simultaneously they can also ask you in the interview. Okay, so you have to prepare for the interview. Similarly, labor law में, accounting में, ये तीनों एरिया में आपको अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना होगा. Are you with me, everyone? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? You have to focus on the interview also. Interview also plays 25% role. Yes, 25% role interview का है, और interview में 90% role only these 3-4 subjects. Okay, did you get my point? Why you should be focusing more upon these subject? Interview में ये बहुत काम आने वाले हैं. Interview में आप इसको याद करके रट के जाएंगे. Factual questions they will be asking from these area only. Polity or maybe general science, computer, aptitude, that is only for the writing examination purpose. But in the real job profile, you have to perform these functions: industry, labor law, accounting and economy. ये 4 चीजें आपको practically आपको deal करनी है after you become the officer, after you become the commissioner, right? That is why you should focus more upon this area in your preparation, so that your 25% area which is exclusively reserved for this, 25% area which is exclusively reserved for this, that is already taken care of, that is automatically taken care of. Okay, so this is the point. Interview is very important, and for interview you have to read these subjects which are highly important in the interview, right? Now after this, let us see the historical evolution. The historical evolution of IR in India. Okay, and you know, there is one more model that we did not discuss in the previous class. Let me discuss it today. One more model. So we have discussed various models, like we have discussed Dunlop model, we have discussed Marxist model, we have discussed socio-psychological model, trusteeship model. Okay, so do you remember the Dunlop model? Do you remember the Dunlop's model? Anyone who can tell me Dunlop's model? याद है आपको? Can you tell me the theme of the Dunlop model? What is the theme of the Dunlop's model? Dunlop model का theme क्या है? Can you tell me? Please try recalling. देखिए, सिर्फ क्लासेस अटेंड करना, जैसे तैसे करके कोर्स कंप्लीट करना, that is not the real game. वो रियल गेम नहीं है. तो रियल गेम क्या है सर? रियल गेम इज remembering it, reproducing it, reading less and reproducing more. कम पढ़ना और उसको reproduce करना, accuracy maintain करना, because syllabus is limited. If you see, syllabus for this subject is limited. The only thing is that you have to maximize your marks. Okay, you have to maximize your marks by reproducing in a better manner. Okay, very good. Om and Pooja Chavan, very good. It is systems model. Ravi Teja, very good. Systems, input, process, output, very good. Then we discussed Marxist model. Okay, what is the key theme of the Marxist model? Do you remember that? Marxist model का key theme क्या है? What is the key theme of the Marxist model? What is the key theme of the Marxist model? Who will tell me? Basically, it is class conflict. Yes, class conflict, conflict between the capital and labor, and there should be confrontation from the side of labor. Okay, there should be confrontation from the side of labor. Now, structural contradictions model by Hyman. Structural contradictions model by Hyman. What is this model? So in this model, basically there are two variants for Marxist approach. The Marxist approach has been shown in two different variants. So two different schools of thought are there who are dealing with the Marxist approach in two different manner. One is the pessimistic view and second is the optimistic view. One is the pessimistic view, another is the optimistic view. Okay, pessimistic view is given by Lenin, Michels and Trotsky. Pessimistic view is given by Lenin, Michels and Trotsky. Okay, so what is the pessimistic view? Pessimistic view says that workers, they are unaware and they are illiterate. Workers, they are unaware and illiterate, and they can get protection only if they come with the intellectuals. They are supported with the individuals who are intellectuals. Okay, so workers are unaware, they are illiterate, and they need the support of the intellectual. This is the pessimistic view. ये क्या है आपका pessimistic view है. This view, the pessimistic view, is given by Lenin, Michels and Trotsky. Okay, Lenin, Michels और Trotsky ने ये view दिया है, pessimistic view उसको हम बोलते हैं, right? The another view is the optimistic view. Optimistic view is given by Marx and Engels. Okay, optimistic view is given by Marx and Engels. Okay, so in the optimistic view, there are workers. Okay, workers, optimistic view says that workers, they maintain the working order. They do the work also and they can maintain the working order also. Okay, they can go into direct confrontation. They can go into direct confrontation. Workers जो हैं वो direct confrontation कर सकते हैं. And there is a class struggle to change the socio-economic order. They can get into direct confrontation and they can get into class struggle to change the socio-economic order. Socio-economic order change करने के लिए class struggle वो कर सकते हैं. And they can create the classless society. They can create the classless society. So this view is the optimistic view, and this is highlighted by the Hyman. This is highlighted by the Hyman. Okay, so this is the optimistic view, or this is the view given by Hyman, the optimistic view of the Marxist approach. This is structural contradictions model. Okay, structural contradictions model says there are two possible views. Okay, now after this, now let us study the history of IR. Okay, I will share this PPT with you, so no, don't worry. Now let us study the history of IR. Okay, the evolution of IR in India. So this is the timeline of evolution of IR in India. This is the timeline of evolution of IR in India. Okay, so first is the first era we can trace back before World War I. So before World War I, there was master-servant relation. There was master-servant relation, and most of the employers, they used to be the British employers. There was master-servant relation, and most of the employers, they used to be the British employers. Okay, because देखिए इंडिया में जो industries थी, they were systematically deindustrialized by the Britishers. Britishers, they systematically deindustrialized the Indian industries. Indian industries को Britishers ने systematically deindustrialize कर दिया, right? What is the purpose? So that they can make the India as an exporter of raw material and importer of finished goods, right? So indigenous industries, they were destroyed, but Britishers, they started investing in industries like jute, cotton, right? So they were the British employers mostly. Indigo, plantation, all these were actually led by that they were basically owned by the British employers. So British employers were the major players, and there was the master-servant relationship. Master-servant relationship tha, right? So World War One में they, before World War One basically, there was an act known as Violation of Workers Contract Act. Violation of Workers Contract Act. Violation of Workers Contract Act. ये जो act था, this act was a tool of exploitation. How this was a tool of exploitation? Because if any worker is violating the act, then this worker will be punished, okay, under the Violation of Workers Contract Act. So it was the exploitative tool, and the purpose was to maximize the British interest. The purpose of this tool was to maximize the British interest, okay. And in this time only, the labor movement started. The labor movement started. We will study more about labor movement in the next chapter, in the trade union chapter. So what is the meaning of labor movement? Labor movement means when the workers are organized. What is the meaning of labor movement? Labor movement means when workers are organized into one, or they are, they are brought together by the external leaders, like social reformers, the politicians, okay? That means there are external leaders, not the leader from within the worker. They are not the workers from within the labor, okay? They are not the members of the working class. They are the external people. For example, Lokhande, okay? Lokhande happens to be one of the very important labor movement leader, okay? NM Lokhande, okay? He was a social reformer, okay? Satyasodhak Samaj, they also happens to be very important body for the labor movement. So labor movement means when the labor is guided. Labor movement means when the labor is guided by the external leaders, the politicians and the other social reformers, okay? And if it is led by the internal leaders, then this is known as trade union movement, okay? If the leadership is provided by the labor itself, the leadership is coming from the working class itself. If the leadership is coming from the working class itself, in that case, this is known as trade union movement. उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Trade union movement बोलते हैं उसको हम लोग, ठीक है? So we have the history before World War One. In this time, there was labor movement and there was no existence of the trade unions. Trade unions were not existing at this time, and there were mines, plantation and jute and cotton textiles. Mines था, plantation था, jute था और cotton textile था. Mines, jute, cotton textile, plantation. These were the major industries. Now, what happened in the World War One? Sir, World War One में ऐसा क्या हुआ? That why are we putting it as a mark line? Why we are putting it like a? Why we are putting it like a? Line of difference, okay? देखिए, as the World War One was ending, so in this time we had three important events. Number one, because of the World War One, labor, they got the exposure of outside countries. And they observed that how the labor unions, the trade unions are working outside India. So they got an idea of the working of labor unions outside India. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me check the blinking reason. Okay, please manage with some blinking, and we will upload the video from the camera, okay, so that in the recording time at least you will not face this problem. The same class is being recorded on the camera, so you can watch it from the recording if you are facing the problem here. I understand this part, okay. So three major events happened in the time of, in this particular time, okay. What are three major events? First, during the World War I, the labor class got an exposure to the world. They got an exposure to the world, okay, that how the conditions of the worker is good in the other countries. Number two, in this time only, Russian Revolution was there. Russian Revolution, it created a workers' rule in the USSR. So that also motivated the workers to demand their rights. And third, the third reason is the establishment of ILO. Okay, establishment of ILO. So ILO was established at this point of time. ILO was established at this point of time. So these are the three reasons of why this area is time is considered to be the important line of difference between the earlier and the later time, okay. Now, what are the important developments happened after the ILO? First of all, there was a Royal Labour Commission. There were important acts like Trade Union Act 1926, Trade Disputes Act 1929, and this Trade Disputes Act 1929, later on, this was converted into Industrial Disputes Act. Then we had tripartite, SLC, ILC, tripartite, that means three bodies coming together, Standing Labour Conference and Indian Labour Conference, okay, these bodies also came into play. Then we had various employer associations. Employer association means the employers are coming together. Employer association like in the form of FICCI, in the form of EFI, in the form of AIOE, okay. You don't need to remember the name of these or the year of establishment. This question they will not ask you. The only thing is that you should know that yes, this was the major development, okay. This was the major development that happened during this time. Then came 1947. 1947, we had Industrial Truce Resolution 1947. So in this time we had Industrial Truce Resolution 1947, okay. So Industrial Truce Resolution was an outcome of the tripartite conferences. Workers, management, workers, management and the government, they sat together and they gave this resolution, they came up with the resolution, okay. And after this, after 1947, we had Constitution of India, Fundamental Right, DPSP that we have already studied. Then we have various trade union federations, okay. Trade union federations. What is the meaning of trade union federation? That means multiple trade unions, they are coming together. Multiple trade unions, they are coming together. And then we had other platforms like conciliation, standing order, arbitration. These things we will discuss in the chapter number 3, okay. And in the 5-year plan, again, there were a lot of new development, or over a period of time, with the help of 5-year plans only, the government has making the policy for the labor, okay. Then 1991 was the major watershed. 1991 again was the major development. 1991 brought the liberalization, privatization, globalization. 1991 brought liberalization, privatization and globalization. So in 1991, there was liberalization of the tight industrial regulations, privatization of the public enterprises and globalization of the Indian economy. So this gave the major impetus to the various reforms. So after this only, we started focusing upon the skill development. So the 5-year plans, after this, they started focusing upon the skill development, focus on the social security, providing the social security to the employees. Why? Because now the companies are getting privatized. When they are being privatized, that means now they need to get the protection. The employees need to get the protection. And we have female labor force participation increasing. Now females are also coming up. Why they are coming up? Because number one, education is increasing for the females. Number two, इन द सर्विस सेक्टर फीमेल्स प्ले द इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. तो पहली बात तो है कि उनके लिए एजुकेशन अपॉर्चुनिटीज इंक्रीज हो रहा है. देयर इज एन अवेयरनेस अबाउट देयर राइट्स, देयर इज ए अवेयरनेस एंड देयर इज ए कॉन्शियसनेस दैट दे शुड आल्सो गेट द राइट्स. एंड सेकेंडली they are also participating because service sector, for example banking sector, health sector, education sector, IT sector, in these sectors they can play very important role because these sectors are more of mental work sector, less of physical work sector. So they can work with the help of mental contribution, with the help of white collar jobs, with the help of their high education, technical education, as a doctor, as an engineer, as a chartered accountant, as a management person. They can contribute with the help of their service, with the help of their mind, with the help of their intellectual knowledge. Okay, so female labor force participation increased. Okay, so after 1921 there is a high impact of liberalization, privatization, globalization. Okay, also one more thing, in 1993 one major development came in the form of workers participation in management bill. In 1993 one major development came in the form of workers participation in management bill. So this was a bill. Bill means not implemented, but with the help of these provisions at least some light was thrown that what is the view of the government regarding how the workers should participate in the management of the enterprises. So workers participation in management bill 1993, it happened to be the important proposal. It has not been implemented, but yes, definitely it is important part of the in the history of the IR. Okay. Then new labor codes came in 2019 and 2020. These new labor codes are providing the foundation. New labor codes are providing the foundation for the reforms. So they are actually comprising all the important central labor laws into 4 codes. They are dividing them into 4 codes, and there is a impetus on liberalization. There is impetus on reforming the institutions, simplifying this for understanding, minimizing the disputes, okay, merging the various organizations. So this is what happened in 2019-20, and these are the 4 labor codes which are into picture. Okay, so I hope you get an idea about the history of development of the IR. I hope you got an idea about the history of development of IR. Okay, so this is the history of development of IR. Apart from this, we shall also see the 5-year plans. What was the focus of the government in the 5-year plans? Sir, 5-year plans में क्या focus था? Okay, what was the focus of the government in the 5-year plans? That is also the important part of the theory or the evolution. Okay. So now we shall discuss 5-year plans. Okay, any question, any doubt, please let me know. I will share this PPT with you, no problem. Okay, I will share this PPT with you. Now, let us see the 5-year plans, the major developments in the 5-year plans. So we have discussed these things already, given in your notes as well, industrial tools resolution and all. Now let us see plan by plan the important aspects. Second 5-year plan, it aimed for, second 5-year plan So second 5-year plan, it aimed at goal of establishing a socialistic pattern of society. ठीक है, तो when you study the 5-year plans in economy, second 5-year plan में क्या हुआ था, our focus was on the industry. We gave the more important role to the industry. We gave the more important prominent role to the industry. कैसे किया था इसको? By giving the new industrial resolution 1956. So industrial resolution 1956 came, industrial policy 1956 came, and in this policy there were two important aspects. Number one, the basic and heavy industries will be focused more. पहला फोकस क्या था? This is part of the economy जो मैं यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ. बेसिक एंड हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज विल बी फोकस्ड मोर. ओके, बेसिक और हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज को ज्यादा फोकस किया जाएगा. सेकंड क्या होगा? दैट PSUs, public sector undertaking, they will get more role. Public sector undertaking will get more role. They will be given the prominent role. वो ज्यादा prominent role उनको मिलेगा, right? So this was the focus of second 5-year plan. So same theme is here also, that we wanted to establish a socialistic pattern of society, and we emphasize the concept of industrial democracy. Okay, we focus the industrial democracy. What is the meaning of industrial democracy? That workers should have the right to participate in the management. There should be proper discussion between the workers, the management, and they should also, decide on the important matters. It is not only the employer but also the workers. We should come together and they should decide on the important matters. Apart from this, in the next decade, that means after the second plan, in the third and fourth plan, the focus was on the minimum wages, fixation of minimum wages rates, and reduction of inequalities. Reduction of inequalities and wage differential. So minimum wage should be given to the employees, because third and fourth 5-year plan, they focused on the equality and equity. That every person in the society, they should be given the proper opportunity, right? So fixation of minimum wages rates, reduction in disparities, and the wage differentials. Okay. After this came the fifth 5-year plan. Fifth 5-year plan, it focused on better food, nutrition, health standard, higher standard of training and education, improvement in the discipline and morale, and more productive technology and management practices. Okay. So that means we should provide the food, nutrition, health standard, higher standard of education and training, improvement in the discipline and morale, more productive technology and the management practices. Okay. So these were the focus of fifth 5-year plan. Then came sixth 5-year plan. In the sixth 5-year plan, the focus was more on effective implementation of these enactments. Okay, sixth 5-year plan mein focus was on effective implementation of these enactments, and also extending the coverage of the employee state insurance schemes, employee provident fund, and family pension scheme. Okay, so we wanted to enhance the coverage of insurance and the pension. Okay, so we have to implement the earlier policies in a good manner, and we have to extend the coverage of the insurance and the pension schemes. Insurance और pension schemes की coverage को हमें enhance करना था, right? Insurance और insurance को हमें enhance करना था, right? Now after this, (1991) okay, 1991 आ गया, reforms वाला time आ गया. Okay, so this was the time of reforms, the 1991 new economic policy of 1991. It has consolidated and reinforced the process of industrial restructuring. So this was the time of process. This was the time of industrial restructuring. Okay, industrial restructuring में privatization, globalization, and liberalization. Privatization, globalization, and liberalization. Right. Then came 8th 5-year plan after the 1991 reforms. In this plan, the focus was on the improvement of working conditions, okay, on the welfare and social security measures, on the enactment and proper implementation of the labor legislation for the unorganized sector, women and child labor. Okay, so improving the working conditions through welfare and social security measures, through proper labor legislation, through focus on the unorganized labor and women and child labor. Okay, so this was the thing. This plan focused on the safety of the workers, workers' education, self-employment, promotion of healthy IR, workers' participation in decision making. As you remember that the bill, WPM Bill 1993, came in this time only. Okay, came in the 8th plan only. Okay, so self-employment, promotion of healthy industrial relations, workers' participation in decision making, enforcement of labor laws, skill formation, strengthening and modernization of the employment, etc. So very high reforms came in this time. Very high focus was there on the workers' concerns, improving the working condition, providing the social security, and then focus on the unorganized worker, women and child labor, safety, education, healthy IR, labor laws, skill formation, and modernization of the employment. Then came the 9th 5-year plan. In the 9th 5-year plan, let us see what was the focus. So in the 9th 5-year plan, the focus was on skill formation and development, monitoring of working conditions, exchange of information on the job opportunities. So employees are provided the information on the job opportunities, creation of industrial peace through healthy industrial relations, insurance against the disease and unemployment. Okay, so skill development, good working conditions, good job opportunities, industrial peace, and healthy IR, and insurance against the disease and unemployment for the workers and their families. So this is the focus of the 9th 5-year plan. 9th 5-year plan में ये आपका focus था. After this came the 10th plan. In the 10th plan, the focus again was on the employment generation, welfare, okay, welfare of unorganized labor, elimination of child labor. Okay, तो जो focus हमारा start हुआ था 8th plan में. 8th plan में we started focusing upon the child labor and unorganized labor. Same focus has been continued even in the 10th plan. 10th plan maybe we have the same focus continuing, right? Unorganized labor, child labor also, right? Then we have 11th 5-year plan. हमारे पास है, फिर आता है हमारा 11th 5-year plan. Okay, so in the 11th 5-year plan we have again focus on the skill development. 11th 5-year plan का जो सबसे important focus था वो था आपका skill development. 11th 5-year plan, the most important focus was on the skill development. Skill development was the most important focus of 11th 5-year plan. And then came the 12th 5-year plan. In the 12th 5-year plan, again skill development, participation of the female workers, okay, and then providing the quality and productive employment opportunities to the higher productivity industry and service sector. Okay, so 12th 5-year plan में आपका focus था on enhancing the level of demand aligned skills of the labor force, raising the female workers' participative role by improving the working conditions, and creating quality and productive employment opportunities to higher productivity industry and services sectors. So this is the 12th 5-year plan. Okay, so basically they will not ask you like what happened in which plan exactly, but you know, definitely you should get an idea. And they will not ask you very highly factual question that what was the focus in this plan or something, but you should get an idea. Maybe they will ask you certain indirect question which you can answer with the help of this discussion. Okay, so this is basically the 5-year plan evolution of the IR. Okay, so with this point we complete the chapter number 1. Chapter number 1 took some time because this happens to be the important chapter. This chapter happens to be the very important chapter. This laid down the foundation of the entire discipline. Next class we will start the trade unions. Next class में हम क्या start करेंगे? Trade union से start करेंगे. The trade union, in the trade union basically again the focus will be upon the Trade Union Act. Basics, approaches, theories, or Trade Union Act. Okay, Trade Union Act happens to be the important provision, very very important for the examination. Okay, लेबर लॉज में ज़ैबा मैडम इज कवरिंग अदर लॉज, फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट, पेमेंट ऑफ वेजेस एक्ट, मिनिमम वेजेस एक्ट, ऑल दिस एक्ट. And here in the IR, in the industrial relation, I will cover two things. Number one, Trade Union Act, and number two, Industrial Disputes Act. ये दो जो एक्ट हैं आपका, ये मैं कवर करने वाला हूँ, और इसकी हेल्प से I will give you an idea you know how these act work, and these are the important act for the examination. बहुत अच्छे क्वेश्चन यहाँ से आने वाले हैं. Okay? If you have any question, please let me know so that I can complete the class.